On June 19th, Comma released Openpilot 0.9.9, which is probably one of the most significant updates they've had in a while, especially if you drive a Tesla. 0.9.9 includes a new default driving model, some UI performance updates, official Tesla support, and one of the most exciting aspects of it is external GPU support. A lot of this pushing Openpilot into some exciting new territory. And if, like me, you drive a Rivian, stay tuned. I've got some exciting new updates on that front as well, including Lukas's new longitudinal upgrade kit, Sunnypilot integration, steering upgrades that are included in the 0.9.9 update, as well as tips on how to deal with any power issues you may be experiencing with the AXM harness. Let's dig into it. Openpilot 0.9.9 includes a new default driving model, Fillet of Fish, which is now trained at 5 frames per second, up from the previous 2 frames per second. Now, just a note that the model runs at 20 frames per second in runtime, but the new 5 frames per second training aligns with Comma's ML Sim. And while this doesn't change the way the model drives yet, this does help validate the training pipeline, including the noise model and planner, and basically lays the groundwork for bigger, smarter, better driving models in the future. Also included in the 0.9.9 update is a new background process called LAG-D. This process basically estimates how long it takes your car to respond to lateral commands, basically steering commands, and accounts for system latency, actuator delay, and steering response. A steering delay can not only vary between different models of vehicle, but can even vary between 2 cars of the same model. Understanding these differences better can allow for more precise control in the future. And LAG-D does currently run as a shadow process in the background, but could be activated if all goes well in the next release. Comma has also open sourced its driving model evaluation reports, so you can start to go in and see for yourself how these different models perform in tricky situations like navigating around cones or driving in narrow lanes. Now, for the lay people like me, this may not be super useful, as a lot of it is still relatively technical, but it is nice to see that they're opening this up and that anybody has access to it to see that for themselves. Also in this update, thanks to community developer Dean Lee, the UI is getting a major update, switching over from QTS to Raylib. This makes the UI faster, more responsive, easier to build. It's a big win for both performance and future development. Now, probably the biggest part of the 0.9.9 update is the ability to connect an external GPU to the Comma 3X. Basically, this means you can attach a Radeon 7600 to the Comma 3X. And while it's not active now, what this means is in the future, using that external GPU, we'll be able to run much bigger models with much better performance. Now, this isn't something that everybody needs to do. The smaller models will obviously still be available to run on the Comma 3X itself, but it is exciting for future development and just to see what the Comma 3X will be capable of over the next coming years. And finally, Teslas are now officially supported in 0.9.9. This includes Tesla Model 3s from 2019 to 2025 and Model Ys from 2020 to 2024. This support does include both longitudinal and lateral control. It's fully integrated and plug and play. And finally, an update on the current state of Openpilot on the Rivian. Lukas Kolben has officially started to sell and ship his longitudinal upgrade kit from his shop at xnor-tech. The upgrade kit opens up Openpilot longitudinal on Rivians. This includes steering wheel button controls, scroll wheel controls, blind spot monitoring, which allows for safer automatic lane changes through Openpilot. On a related front, Lukas's upgrade kit is fully supported on the latest master version of Sunnypilot, which includes plug-and-play capability, meaning it will detect whether or not you have the upgrade kit installed. If you do, it will open up the options for Openpilot longitudinal. If not, it will use the Rivian's ACC as normal. With the official Sunnypilot support of Lukas's kit, This means that the xnor branches for Openpilot Longitudinal, which did work with Lukas's kit previously, are now deleted and no longer supported. The UI branches are still available, so that if you don't have the upgrade kit, you can still use those branches to get a taste of what Openpilot Longitudinal is like on your Rivian. It does use the on-screen buttons. Unfortunately, those branches will no longer be updated, but they will still be available for you to test out and use. The 0.9.9 update also includes a low-speed steering torque tweak for Rivians, increasing available steering torque for speeds under 30 miles an hour. This makes low-speed turning on Rivians tighter and more responsive. And finally, if you are experiencing issues with your Rivian harness, we have noticed that there are issues using power from the AXM to power the Comma 3X as well. It seems the AXM is very sensitive to voltage fluctuations, and while your mileage may vary, especially if you have an earlier model Rivian, if you are experiencing ACC failures, the Comma shutting down, the AXM shutting down, best practice right now is to completely isolate the Comma from harness power and then use an alternative source of power such as the OBD2 power connector or a fuse tap. Lukas does have fuse taps available in his shop right now. If you have a version of Lukas's harness which has a harness box with either the RJ45 power connector or no connection for alternate power at all, contact Lukas and he will get you a new harness box with the 4-pin Molex so that you can use OBD2 Comma power or the fuse tap. Instructions on how to modify the harness to isolate the Comma from AXM power is included in the tips and tricks document that is linked down in the description below. I will also be making a tutorial video on how to do this. It's a very simple modification in a new video, so keep an eye out for that. So that wraps it up for the 0.9.9 and Rivian Openpilot update. If there's anything else you'd like me to cover, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching and enjoy the drive.